Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're going to talk about something that's a huge part of our lives, but maybe we don't think about it this way our festivals. We're going to unpack how Nepali traditions are so much more than just celebrations, they're actually powerful living classrooms. So let's just start with this big question right here. When you think about Dashain, or Tihar, or Chat, are they just dates on the calendar? A day off, some great food? Or could there be something deeper going on? Something like an ancient curriculum of values, hiding in plain sight all this time? Okay, so let's get into this really cool concept living schools, or in Nepali, Dyudoparsala. This idea completely reframes how we see our festivals. See, they're not just these static, unchanging rituals. They're actually dynamic, hands-on environments where we learn about ethics, about community, and really about how to live a better, more meaningful life. So, if festivals are classrooms, what's on the syllabus? Well, they're teaching us priceless lessons about our most important values. And honestly, this is where their true power is. And when you start to break it down, these lessons become crystal clear. Think about Dashain, that moment you receive a tika from an elder. That's not just a formality. It's a physical lesson in respect, a real reminder of family bonds, and a celebration of truth winning out over evil. Or how about Tihar? When we worship a dog, we're learning profound compassion for all living things. And singing Deusi Bailo together, that's a masterclass in collaboration and community spirit. And then you have Chahat, with the fasting and cleaning of riverbanks. It just brilliantly teaches us about personal discipline and taking care of our environment. But here's the turn in the story. For all of this amazing built-in wisdom, all this potential, it's now facing some really serious threats. So what exactly are these threats? We're up against a set of modern challenges that are actively chipping away at the educational heart of our oldest classrooms. When we look closer, a few big problems pop up. First, there's just so much consumerism. The market pressure turns these celebrations of value into competitions of who can spend more, sometimes even pushing families into debt. Then, of course, there's pollution. The loud firecrackers during Tehar, the piles of waste left behind at Chatgats, and maybe the biggest one is the rise of blind faith, where people are just going through the motions, performing rituals without ever asking why, which completely shuts down the critical thinking these traditions were supposed to spark. And here's the scary part. These negative practices, they become the new, harmful lessons that our kids are learning. So, how do we fix this? How do we protect these living classrooms? Well, this is where our educators and our schools can step in and play a really transformative new role. What we need is a whole new approach. Let's call it festival pedagogy. And it's actually a pretty clear three-step plan. Step one is all about critical practice. So instead of kids just memorizing the story of Dashain, schools could host a debate on what does the victory of truth actually look like in our world today. Step two, service-based learning. Let's turn these rituals into real-world action. Instead of just singing Dwisi Bailo for some pocket money, what if that money was used to support a local library or help out an orphanage? And finally, step three, media literacy. We've got to teach students how to see through the advertising that tries to turn a sacred tradition into a shopping season. This is how we create mindful consumers, not mindless ones. And really, this gets to the absolute heart of the solution. It's all about shifting our mindset from just passively consuming to actively contributing. It's this beautiful idea that service is the real celebration. It's about actually living the values of the festival, not just going through the motion. So, when you look at the big picture, what we're really talking about here is this massive opportunity, an opportunity to tap into our very own culture as a source of deep, meaningful learning. But here's the thing. This can't happen in a bubble. For this to work, it has to be a shared responsibility. It's got to be a partnership between schools formalizing the learning, parents modeling these values at home, and the entire community working together to uphold the true spirit of these traditions. So, what's the ultimate goal here? What are we aiming for? It's about raising a future generation that is responsible, that's rational, and that's compassionate. A generation that doesn't feel like they have to choose between tradition and modernity, but one that knows how to skillfully balance both, taking the wisdom from our past not just to remember it, but to actually build a better future with it. And that really just leaves us with one final thought to take away with you. As the next festival rolls around, it's not just about what you're going to buy or where you're going to go. The real question is this: how will you, in your own life, turn that celebration into a truly meaningful learning experience?